Most Valuable Player award is one that tends to raise a lot of disagreement and dispute amongst members of the basketball community. The regular season MVP is renowned as the most prestigious individual award that can be won in the world of basketball. Nikola Jokic has been in control of this award for more than half the season, and the only other player in the NBA who has held the top spot in this ladder is ineligible to win the award, as he suffered an injury months ago. Winning his third MVP would be a huge accomplishment for the Nuggets superstar, but scoring another finals victory would be even more important to him. Today's video will be why Nikola Jokic deserves to win the MVP. We are now just a couple of weeks away from finding out which NBA player will be named this season's MVP. Although there are several players performing incredibly well, conventional wisdom suggests that the race has come down to Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Oklahoma City Thunder. On First Take, Shannon Sharpe threw his support behind Jokic, citing the big man's consistency.
I do. The consistency, and I think sometimes, Stephen A., you've been a voter for this, and sometimes the guys' numbers are just so consistent across the board, like Jordan. I mean, right. after you see him average 33, 5, and 5 for like 6 years in a row, you're like, what's so special about it? Or Giannis doing what he's doing, or LeBron when he in his prime was doing what he was doing. I think Nikola Jokic is going to win the MVP his third in about 5 to 6 years, and I think Luka. If Luka won it, I wouldn't be disappointed if Luka won it, because I don't know if anybody's noticed it, but he's always been great. But Stephen A., he's taking his play up to another. If you can imagine that, he's taking his play up to another level. So I wouldn't be disappointed if Luka won it, but I think Nikola is going to win it. Jokic's going to win it.
Jokic and Gilgeous-Alexander may be battling for MVP right now, but in several weeks, they could be fighting each other to make it out of the Western Conference. This final stretch of games is going to be exciting for a number of reasons. Not only will it determine who the top seed in the West is, but it will also give both Jokic and SGA a chance to show off even more and earn MVP honors. Sharpe thinks that Jokic has done enough to earn his third MVP, but everyone expects Gilgeous-Alexander to not go down without a fight. Nikola Jokic is averaging 26.1 points, 12.3 rebounds, and 9 assists in 34.5 minutes played per night. He is shooting 58% from the field, 35% from the three-point line, and 83% from the free throw line. He also adds 1.3 steals and a block to that stat line. He is an NBA champion and former two-time MVP, which makes the public's perception of his MVP campaign one that differs greatly from the others. NBA voting in the past has proven countless times that voter fatigue exists, and that if a player has already won the MVP and achieved other success in the league, it makes them less exciting of a story for basketball fans to follow and support. People love a good story, so the narrative and story behind a player's season seems to matter. George Karl, the legendary NBA coach and former head coach of the Denver Nuggets, even said this: "Too bad Nikola Jokic got robbed last year, because otherwise we would be talking about the first player ever to win 4 MVPs in a row this month." Just a reminder, although Nikola Jokic had a brilliant previous season, the MVP award went to Philadelphia 76ers center Joel Embiid. Jokic is a very unproblematic and likable character, making him one of the league's fan favorites. He is leading the Denver Nuggets to a top 3 record in the league. Time will tell if they end up the top seed in the West. He is an extremely efficient and intelligent player, whose impact on the Nuggets is immense and unquestionable in ways that transcend your traditional box score statistics. LeBron James explained the various ways to try to defend the play when a talented big man like Nikola Jokic has the ball. He breaks down how it is nearly impossible to guard when such a player is involved.
If the big has it going and he's shooting it well, i.e., it could be, Joel, it could be Porzingis, it could be Joker, where he might be shooting it well, then the guard can get out and give a hard hedge, and the big that's guarding the ball goes one remove. So he goes underneath his player, in between his player and the offensive player. If that doesn't work, then you have to switch and then fire. And that's with Joker, that's what makes their team insanely to guard, because when you switch and you fire, he can make every single pass
It's kind of entertaining to hear LeBron James marvel at these talented bigs the way that most players marvel at him. Even LeBron clearly feels frustrated by guys who are so big and so skilled at the same time, and Jokic just does it on another level because of his passing. However, Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal is still picking Shea over Jokic as the MVP. Shaq made his choice on shortly before OKC rallied back from a 20-point deficit to beat New Orleans, 119-112, in a game that went down to the wire. SGA's 3 with 129 left swayed the momentum in his team's favor.
The MVP is SGA.
Why, Shaq?
Denver's
I
first
saw
and
something
best.
today. He's one of few guys that have 50, 30-point games in the season.
Yeah.
And he meets my criteria and everybody else's.
The real Shaq criteria, not the one
He's
left.
the baddest player in the game, and their team is 49-21.
All right, let me-
He has 50, 30-point games.
That's the reason why Michael doesn't have.
Besides being embroiled in a two-horse MVP race that could come down to the wire, SGA and Jokic are also battling for the #1 seed out west. With basically the same record right now, voters could ultimately reward the player whose team finishes with a better record. That's because, in terms of both counting and advanced stats, the MVP frontrunners are nearly inseparable. Jokic is doing what was expected of him on his defending champion Nuggets. Often, the MVP comes down to storylines, and Shea's underdog narrative could sway voters in his favor. With the season quickly coming to a close, voters have much to ponder before submitting their final ballots. To Shaq's disappointment, Mad Dog Russo on First Take said that Nikola Jokic is the greatest center in the league. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, David Robinson, Shaquille O'Neal, and Hakeem Olajuwon are among the greatest centers on this list. And he did not shy away from putting Jokic over every name that was mentioned above, while also adding that Jokic was better than Shaquille O'Neal.
And we know Jokic might be, at the end of the day, the greatest center in the history of the NBA. And that's saying a lot. He might be at the end of his career. He's that good. He's better than Shaq. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay,
he's better than Shaq.
In fairness to Jokic, he's played only 9 seasons in the league compared to Shaq's 19. He is a one-time NBA champion and an NBA Finals MVP. Jokic is also a 2-time league MVP compared to Shaq's once. The Serbian NBA star has made the All-NBA team 5 times in his career. Moreover, it is the style of play that Jokic brings to the court that is unprecedented. And most impressive about his game, he is arguably the best passer in the league. Not just at his position, but overall. It is a fair assumption to make, based on his prior stances on such topics, that Nikola Jokic does not care too much about whether or not he wins the award. In fact, he even went on to say, after a game against the Dallas Mavericks, that he believes Luka Doncic deserves the MVP 100%. Despite this humility and selfless play of appreciation from Jokic, we can all agree that he is also a very strong candidate for this award, and has been for the last half-decade. For what it's worth, Jokic has already played in most games this season, so if the team were to shut him down with his various ailments, he has already met the 65-game threshold to win the MVP award. That scenario is very unlikely, and there has been no indication the Nuggets plan to do so. But the point is that the MVP award is Nikola's to lose. He's met all the criteria, has kept his lead over the field, and has been the best and most valuable player in the league consistently all season. These final 7 games should have little to no bearing on that. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing NBA content.